Let's pause here. Is Zenyatta having fun? The answer is no. Competitive games are suddenly problematic. Remember that clip I played of Zen? Oh, that's the wrong clip. Remember that clip of Zen getting punched into his instant death? That clip hides the secret behind why these competitive games are suddenly problematic. And I'm talking about instant deaths. Have you noticed over the past few years, game companies started to add more ways to one-shot kill people? And wouldn't you agree that that is no fun and very lazy game design? Let's make a timeline. Let's start about 10 years ago when FPS games really started to get popular. In 2007, Halo 3 and Call of Duty 4 were both released to the public. These were games that everybody loved and played. And if you didn't play them, you were lame, a hard-working person with a thriving social life. Halo 3 and COD 4 were competitive games that felt great, and they had one thing in common. Well, I guess like 4 things. Sniper rifles, shotguns, melees, and explosives, or getting run over by a vehicle, were the only things allowed to one-shot kill. And this is because they each had major drawbacks. Sniper rifles would lose close range, shotguns would lose long range, melee was melee, and explosives had low ammo. And the following years down the road, with games such as Modern Warfare 2 all the way up to Black Ops 2, Halo Reach and Halo 4, Counter-Strike, Battlefield, all the Battlefields, do I really need to give more examples? They continued the same tradition of gameplay. You can't add too many one-shots in shooter games. But this cycle was broken by Call of Duty with its release of Black Ops 3 in 2015. Thank you, Treyarch.
Father fought to protect us, but the gang of villains known as Treyarch overpowered him and ransacked our house until they found the
worst game in the franchise. Treyarch decided it would be really funny to give players this, and this, and this. On top of kill streaks, which are in all of the Call of Duty games, we didn't even mention that previously, Black Ops 3 set a new standard for how many one-shot kills can be in a game. A very dangerous standard. And of course, even after community complaint, Infinite Warfare comes the following year with the same exact things. That same year, summer of 2016, Overwatch is released. The shooter that initially redeemed the balance of gameplay in this shooter genre, just to end up breaking down over a year into its lifespan, buffing heroes that didn't need buffed.
You shoot grenade, shoot concussion, and blow it up immediately. So that was almost instantaneous.
To make them essentially a one-shot, and it also added heroes that nobody wanted. Like John Wick, like Doomfist, that you saw in the beginning of this video. And that seems to be the sudden problem with these competitive shooters. Every corner you turn is starting to lead to an instant death. And if I wanted that, wouldn't I just go play Dark Souls? This is just my opinion, but I believe shooter games feel a lot better with less one-shot kills. And I know what you're saying now. Nateson hasn't even talked about the Counter-Strike AK-47 headshots. And to that, I say don't ever interrupt me. And Counter-Strike does allow the AK-47 to be a one-shot if you land a headshot. And there's a reason why this is okay. Not only do you have to be on offense to use the AK-47, pushing people that are already locked in a defensive position, but you have to manage the crazy spray pattern. Basically what I'm trying to say is that this is okay because it is such high skill equaling high reward. Does this look high skill to you? Now what about this? Now what about this? Okay, wow, that was actually pretty good. Counter-Strike requires you to have high skill to pull off the headshot, making it feel fair when you die to it. So then you take this mechanic, apply it to every weapon in the game, and that, my friends, is Rainbow Six Siege. All you need to take from this video is that one-shot kill mechanics are acceptable when they have their drawbacks and are backed by high skill. If it takes a low amount of skill to eliminate players that are a lot better than you, you have successfully created Overwatch. Thank you.